Hello, once again, everybody. Welcome back to the Smirk and Soul Show. It's me, your host, Sam, and I'm joined once again by the man who never met a cider that he didn't like. It's my co-host and yours, Jack. Jack,
hello, everybody.
How you doing this week?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm getting over a little bit of an illness, so my voice might sound a little bit croaky at times, but I am back to fighting fit, and I am back to talk to you about wrestling, and I'm excited, so let's fucking get into it. How are you doing?
I am... Do you know what? This week has been... It's been a hell of a week for me.
Yeah.
At the time we're recording this, Arsenal have, just a few days ago, gotten into our first Champions League final in 20 years, and in about 3 hours we're about to play West Ham in a game that may potentially decide our first Premier League championship in 22 years. So I'm a mess, but in a good way. I'm a hot mess, you know?
A mess of excitement.
Oh my God, I could mess myself, you know? Folks, this week we've got a doozy for you. I suggested this show because for one, I had never seen it. Jack, have you ever watched this show?
No, not fully all the way through, no.
So neither of us have watched this show. Obviously, we knew that it is a universally panned show.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, well, wouldn't it be funny if after we've had multiple weeks of doing shows that we were like, oh, this was fun, I enjoyed this, to just have a laugh at a bad show? Folks, that's not what this was. This was not an enjoyable time. I was expecting, like, 2000 WCW, like, oh, it's terrible, but at least it was funny. There is some of that, but a lot of this was just dross.
A lot of it was. Some of it was just complete, like baffling fever dream stuff, which can converge on entertaining. But yeah, probably like 80% of the show was just basically like a house show and just weird decisions being made.
You know what, Jack? You say it was like a house show, okay? But me and you have been to a WWE house show, and I feel like that was far more enjoyable than whatever the fuck this was.
Yes. No, I agree. Where do we start apart from... we start with the fact that this show shouldn't have even fucking happened, and the Saudi deal shouldn't have ever happened, and the Saudi government murdered Jamal Khashoggi, and we're still in this deal 10 years later.
Yeah, so I suppose we should...
Not to bring a downer on things, but, you know, it's pretty important, right?
It's fine. I actually wrote a background for this show, and in my notes on the background, you've pretty much hit every point tonight. Yeah, so we're looking this week at WWE Crown Jewel 2018, which took place November 2nd, 2018, in the King Saud University Stadium in Riyadh. Attendance for this was 16,000, which in my head, I thought it was like, you know, you hear a stadium show, I thought this was going to be like 40 to 50. I don't even think it was 16,000 either, because they showed quite a few shots of like kind of wide shots of the crowd, and there's a few empty spots anyway. But yeah, let's get into a bit of the background. This may well be one of, if not the most controversial WWE pay-per-views of all time. Yeah. This show took place less than a month after the premeditated murder of, like you said, dissident Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who, for those of you who don't know, we're gonna get into all sorts of stuff with this show. He was a Saudi journalist who was sort of notably critical of the Saudi royal family. He gained sort of asylum to America. He got what's called an O visa, which is otherwise known as a genius visa. So basically these visas are handed out to people who are sort of outstanding in their fields. So he moved to America, had that visa. He married a Turkish woman, and he was basically drawn back to Turkey, to the Turkish sort of consulate, and was murdered. There's no sort of sweetening of this that you can say. The man was murdered less than a month before this show. Government, activists, the news, the media, everyone was like pleading with WWE to pull out of this show.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, this is, you're dealing with essentially North Korea here. I would say even worse than North Korea, to be honest. And WWE did what WWE always do, and they just went ahead with it. We did have top baby faces, such as John Cena and Daniel Bryan, pull out of the event.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn was barred from Saudi Arabia due to tensions ongoing between Syria and Saudi Arabia, which meant that Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn's best friend, also pulled out of the event. So it was just, even beforehand, this whole thing was a shit show.
Yeah.
But WWE went full speed ahead with it. And don't worry, guys, because they made sure that the first ever all-women's pay-per-view took place coincidentally before a show where no women would feature at all.
Yeah.
Just happened to do it in a smaller arena. But this is WWE's second pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia after the Greatest Royal Rumble, which took place in, I believe, April of 2018.
Earlier that same year, yeah.
Yes, WWE had signed a 10-year deal with the Saudi government to host shows in the country. And you know what they say about sequels. This show is far more Home Alone 4 than Home Alone 2, you know? But noticeably, and probably unsurprisingly, as we open the show, there's no theme song for the show. It's just kind of like generic, like Arabic-sounding rock music. Because I guess who on earth would want to put their name to this outside of WWE? So we just get kind of, I don't know, if CFOs just put together some stuff.
It just sounded like stock music that you would get.
It really was. Yeah. I think they just typed into Google Arabic rock cool music.
Yeah.
And that's what they got. We kick off the show after I've laid all of this down for you. And you might be thinking, gosh, this is terrible. They're going to have to really pull out all the stops to redeem themselves, you know, for this show. Who is the first person we see? Whose entrance music is the first that we hear? It's only fucking Hulk Hogan, folks.
Notable racist and piece of shit. Hulk Hogan is here.
It's his first appearance in the WWE in 3 years. Why has it been so long? Don't worry about it. He was busy. Commentary is glazing him like the roast ham with which he shares such a resemblance. So we're already off to a pretty gross start here.
I made a quick note here that Hulk Hogan, as of 2018, looks a lot like how HBK dressed up as him back in 2005 during their feud.
Yes, he really does. Like he has become a parody of himself at this point. He cuts just like a really color by numbers promo, pure fluff. Just I haven't even written anything down about what it was because it was just so empty and vapid. It was him talking about, you know, all the Hulkamaniacs in Saudi Arabia and what you're gonna do when Hulkamania and Crown Prince bin Salman run wild on you. Probably not good things will happen. So just remember, kids, if you're going to say something horrendously racist, don't get caught.
No.
And that's even if you do, you'll still be welcomed back with open arms. Because commentary was just, they were fully, like, I get it. They kind of have, like, they can't, Hulk Hogan's going to come out, they can't be like, oh, this fucking guy, fuck this piece of shit. Like, the New Day's not on commentary, basically. But yeah, they were balls deep, or Hogan was balls deep in them, I should say. That's pretty much it. That's the last we see of Hogan, even though he is the host of the show. He got in, he got that paycheck, and he got the fuck back out again. Can't necessarily blame him. But after 10 minutes, we're finally introduced to the commentary team, which is Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young. So
yes, women
are allowed to be here.
She's the only woman allowed there.
She is literally the only woman you see on camera, apart from some mothers that have brought their kids in the crowd. She is the only featured woman on camera for the entire, what is this, like a 4-hour show, I think it ends up being. It felt like 4 days. Jack, do you have any thoughts on that opening sort of 20 minutes or so?
Awful. I hate everything about it, and I hate everyone involved. Please get... why was Hogan on our screens after 2015? I mean, giving him a wide berth there, he should have been off TV years before that. Because he was a notable piece of shit, and everyone knew that he was a piece of shit. And then all of that stuff came out, in 2015, and then he was blacklisted from wrestling, as he should have been, and somehow snuck back in. And they're likely going to do it with Vince McMahon within the next 2 to 3 years, probably as well, after all of his stuff. And if they do it once, they'll do it again, and they'll get away with a little bit more the next time. I just hate everything about it, Sam. So
yeah, it very much, it was kind of like the we've given the 3 years as a cool off. It's time to kind of soft launch the return of Hulk Hogan again. Okay, guys, he said he was sorry he got caught. That's good enough. So let's move into our first match on the show, I guess.
We're so low energy because it's so shit.
It's honestly, I truly regret this.
The WWE are taking lengths to not mention exactly where they are. They just say, Crown Jewel, and this is Crown Jewel, and they don't, like, nobody on air says where they are, I think, really. I don't particularly remember any kind of direct references to Saudi Arabia. I could be wrong. There is a few points in this show where I had to zone back in. You just glaze over, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of go, oh, yeah, here we are. And this is very much what everything in the show felt like. So we have the WWE World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world, to give it its full and proper title. There was qualifiers held on Raw and SmackDown in the weeks leading up to this. We get to the kind of the finals, the sort of the World Cup proper, if you will, to use some footballing lingo. And the 8 finalists that we have, 4 from Raw, 4 from SmackDown, are all American. Now, in the qualifiers, you did have the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura, Japanese, and Rusev, Bulgarian. Neither of those qualified for the tournament. So we have, well, I mean, technically, if you want to say Rey Mysterio is Mexican, he's of Mexican heritage. Yeah. So, but everyone is North American in this WWE.
You could pass off Ziggler as Canadian.
Why could you pass off Ziggler as Canadian?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Because he does a lot of mat wrestling, and I associate Canadian wrestlers with a lot of mat wrestling. But then you've got Kurt Angle, who's all American anyway.
And you also, Dolph Ziggler's name is Dolph Ziggler. I think if you were going to pass him off as any other nationality, it'd probably be German.
Yeah, he's the German representative in the World Cup. He's got Drew with him, so they could have a European contingent.
Sure, yeah, sure. Drew McIntyre is kind of the Sir Alex Ferguson of this whole.
I'm sorry to derail it, Sam, but none of these matches matter. This show is shit.
We get a picture-in-picture promo of Ray saying, this fucking blew me away. And I know that they've been told that you have to glaze this tournament and you have to make it seem like a big deal. But when I heard Rey Mysterio in this picture-in-picture promo say that this tournament is one of the reasons he came back to the WWE, I've completely lost all suspension of disbelief, because what the fuck are you talking about? This is the same year where he wrestled at the first ever All In, and he, instead of continuing to do that, he was like, you're telling me that there's a World Cup tournament in Saudi Arabia? I'm there. I'm back. Get me. Just when I think I'm done, they pull me back in, kind of thing, you know? We also get a picture-in-picture promo from Randy, who says he's always been the best in the world, and tonight he's going to prove it. So, you know, again, just more kind of fluff.
How many times do you think in the whole show the phrase World Cup to determine the best in the world was said?
Have you written it down? Or
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go through and count.
I thought you were like, well,
they said it a lot.
I was going to guess at like 17 or 18, but I feel like it's probably higher than that.
It's probably more than that. Yeah, I mean, if they said it enough for someone to just even notice and ask the question how many times, then it's already too much, isn't it?
That's true, and we do know that WWE like to hammer things home.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Jesus Christ. Should we get into the match?
Sorry, yeah, go on.
So the match starts off with some dueling 619 RKO chants from the fans, and things start off with a collar and elbow tie-up. We get some back and forth, but Mysterio gets met with a drop kick by Orton after Mysterio attempts a springboard. Orton hangs Rey up on the top rope before some stomps on the midsection. Orton places Rey up on the top turnbuckle, trying to remove his mask. Rey fights back, but Orton regains control. His superplex attempts are blocked, and Rey hits a seated senton and follows it up with a crossbody. Mysterio hits a wheelbarrow bulldog at one point, which Michael Cole calls a DDT. Incorrect. Rey begins hitting Orton with a series of leg kicks, finishing it off with an attempted 619, which Orton blocks and hits the vintage Orton Impaler DDT from the middle rope. Orton starts teeing up for an RKO, but Rey Mysterio reverses into a roll-up for the pin and win in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. But Orton does get his heat back with an RKO and a beatdown on Rey after the bell. I feel like I sped through that, but that is the match.
No, that's the match. It's a 5-minute match. It's match 1 of like 13 of the night. So yeah,
strap yourselves in, folks.
I gave that one 2 out of 5. I said it was too short, but the wrestling was okay, and you've got two guys in there that have decent enough chemistry together and know how to put a 5-minute match together, but just underwhelming. And yeah, it was just short, wasn't it? So 2 out of 5 for me. What did you give it? I
also went 2.
Hey.
I genuinely thought you were going to go lower, and I was being nice about this. But I think, like you said, it was fine. It was just they got in, they did their stuff. You know,
if you have the quarterfinals and the semi and the finals on one show, it baffles me the decision to put all of the quarterfinals on the show anyway, because you won't give them valuable time.
You could just put the final on this show.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could very easily, yeah. So, but it just means that all of your quarterfinal matches are going to be between like 5 and 7 minutes, basically. Yeah. And your performers aren't going to have enough time to do what they need to do to tell the story because they're rushing through it. So, yeah. Yeah,
it was very much like the match started and already it feels like we're hitting the go home section of the match, you know? So yeah, it was fine. It wasn't, it was inoffensive, I guess is the best way to put it. We got a Miz promo in between the first match and the second match. I started typing out the notes for it, and then I deleted all the notes because whatever Miz had to say was just, once again, so inconsequential that it felt pointless. It was just, I'm bad guy, I'm going to win tournament. That's it.
You could have skipped all of these intro promos for every competitor, and you wouldn't have been any, like, it would have just been fine.
Yeah. So we get our second quarterfinal match, which is Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. Jeff Hardy picture-in-picture promo. Jeff talks about this being the day his inner demons meet their reckoning or something.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I used to be an addict type shit. Nothing new, really. This, as I start watching The Miz make his entrance, that's when I really start second guessing why I decided to pick this show to watch. I understand that Miz is very respected in the industry. His longevity, credit to him. He's a safe worker. He seems, for all intents and purposes, like a friendly guy who does genuinely love wrestling. But oh my god, I do not care. As soon as the bell rings on a Miz match, I'm checking my phone. Like, I don't care about him. And we have to watch.
He hasn't had a match that's probably been widely considered above like a 4-star match, like, ever. He's, like you said, he's a really safe worker, and he'll always probably put in an average performance. Yeah. But I don't think he Well, you just not I guess not talented enough to take that next step into super stardom of wrestler, but that's fine because he's still a multi-millionaire and famous and got a hot wife and you know all that kind of fucking shit. Is like the barometer for success for vapid Americans. Exactly,
and I think, you know, as much as I criticize Miz from an in-ring standpoint, the Miz is pretty much living the American dream. He
absolutely and fair
shows up to work.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. All credit to the Miz. You know, I'm happy for you,
but
I'm not happy for me.
I'll tune out whenever you're in the ring, mate.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, and those in between and beyond, guess how this match starts off? Collar and elbow tie-up. Miz gets control with a shoulder block after a side headlock. Then we get a side headlock and a shoulder block from Jeff Hardy. Then a hip toss. Then a mule kick. Then Hardy misses a splash into the corner. Miz very quickly goes for a skull-crushing finale, but Hardy counters and hits a jawbreaker. Hardy goes for a drop kick in the corner, but Miz reverses, and we get a rest hold. We get a rest hold in this match. This match, ladies and gentlemen, goes 7 minutes and 5 seconds, and we've got a rest hold. Hardy fights out of the rest hold with some elbows, but Miz hits Hardy with a neck breaker and a near fall. Miz is doing the Daniel Bryan drop kicks in the corner, but far less athletic than Daniel Bryan ever did them. Even when his neck was falling apart, Miz goes for a third Danielson drop kick in the corner, but Hardy meets him halfway with a clothesline. Hardy hits his inverted atomic drop, followed by a double leg drop to the nether regions for a 2 count. Hardy then sets up for the twist of fate, but Miz escapes, but Hardy pulls off a whisper in the wind for a 2 count. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." I can assure you, it isn't. Miz sets up for a figure 4, but Hardy rolls him up for another 2 count. Hardy then sends Miz outside the ring and hits him with a baseball slide. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that spot again. Yeah. Hardy runs along the barricade and hits Miz with a crossbody. Every time. Everyone just wrestles the same match. All the time. Every match is the same. Hardy rolls Miz back in the ring and then sets up for a swanton, but Miz rolls away and attempts a roll-up. He puts his feet on the rope and is caught by the ref, very obviously, which is fine, he's a heel. Hardy attempts a roll-up of his own, and Miz kicks out before hitting Hardy with a skull-crushing finale and the win in, like I said, 7 minutes, 5 seconds. It's over. It's finished. No more of that match. Jack, what did you think?
1.5 out of 5. Heatless. Boring. Nothing riding on it, and it's a cup quarter final, for fuck's sake.
This is for a place in Wembley.
Yeah, right. All I put was Miz does his typical heel wrestling, Jeff does his plucky babyface thing. We get a running barricade spot. Miz tries to cheat, but then wins clean anyway.
I know.
Pointless.
What the fuck?
It's pointless. So, yeah, like you said, Miz is inoffensive and he's a decent worker, but I don't think I can really get too invested in whatever he's doing. So that probably brings it down some points for me. Jeff Hardy in 2018 is a shell of his former charismatic self with crazy ideas in a wrestling ring. He's sort of just rested on his laurels at this point, and you can't really trust a guy that always gives in and fucks up. Like every couple of years he does something, and I know he's trying to get back on the straight and narrow now and everything, but how many times have we fucking heard that in the last 25 years? So yeah, that's the reasoning why that's that. What about you?
So you're saying that Jeff Hardy's addiction problems are part of the reason why you gave this match 1.5 stars.
No, just like everything is built to his point in 2018, and he's just not doing it anymore for me. So when you have two guys in a ring that aren't really doing it for me, and then they're in a 7-minute match in a fucking Saudi empty arena, and it's a quarter final of a cup that doesn't matter and stuff. It's just, it all goes into one melting pot, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, I was slightly kinder to this match. I gave this 1.75.
Yeah, that's fair.
Again, this was the kind of match that if this match had happened on weekly TV, I would have been up and making a cup of tea to watch the next segment. Like, I simply would not have cared for this. And I didn't. But unfortunately, I picked this show to review, so I had to sit there and watch it and take notes at the same time. Yeah. Because I am incredibly stupid. I think there was another promo in between matches with Seth Rollins. I think he probably said that he's going to burn it down or something.
And then Leo Rush probably just said Lashley over and over again for Lashley.
Yeah. Promo. So yeah, that's our next match is Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley with Leo Rush, by the way. Mm-hmm. Seth does get a very big pop, which was interesting to hear because
he's the main baby face right now, I guess.
He's the Hangman Adam Page of WWE at this point, I guess. So Seth at this point is a dual champion. He holds both the Intercontinental Championship and the Raw Tag Team Championships with Dean Ambrose, sort of. This is about 2 weeks removed from the Raw where Roman Reigns announced in a very emotional sort of segment that his leukemia had returned and that he was going to have to step away from the WWE for, however long until he had been sort of cleared and in remission again. We're in the midst of kind of like a mini Shield reunion where Dean and Seth hold the Raw Tag titles. Later on in the main event, Dean and Seth defeat, I think it was The Bar, and Dean out of nowhere turns on Seth in that sort of microcosm moment. Incredible. You had this big emotionally charged segment, like I said earlier, with Roman announcing, like, for real, that his leukemia had come back. He strips back the curtain and says, he's not Roman, he's Joe. He's Joseph. Mm-hmm. He's a real person with this real battle that he's having to put up with. Mm-hmm. And then you get kind of the heart gets ripped out of everybody when Dean turns on Seth then on the same show. And it was like, I remember watching it at the time being like, oh my God, I can't believe they've gone for this, but not in like a bad way, like in this could be incredible, like that they could, and obviously Roman would have had to kind of not give his blessing, but I'm sure they would have had to say to Roman, like, hey, are you okay with us using this for something? And they did, but the whole feud just fucking, the arse fell out of it immediately. Dean started, his heel persona was just like, oh, the fans are stinky, was kind of his thing. When this really should have been a blood feud. Like, Ambrose has this resentment towards Rollins for 4 years since he originally broke up the Shield. Yeah. And Rollins and Reigns went on to do their thing and be the massive stars of the company. And Dean kind of, yes, he did win a world championship, but he was kind of seen as like, oh yeah, that's just Dean. Like he
was always the afterthought in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that they really should have built on in that feud where,
for sure.
Yes, Dean is the heel and he turned on Rollins, but he has legitimate grievances. Anyway, sorry, I was talking about good things that happened because I wanted to, a bit of
a glimmer of positivity.
Yeah. So yeah, Bobby Lashley comes out and he's doing this weird gimmick where he keeps showing off his hole. Yeah. Leo Rush has a microphone in his hand and is hyping up Bobby Lashley on their way to the ring. It's quite homoerotic. Mm-hmm. He's like, look at this man. This is my man, Bobby Lashley. And I'm like, is there something going on between you two? Maybe.
They got to make their own fun, though, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, my God. This was dog shit. John Cena was actually supposed to be Seth Rollins' opponent, but it was changed due to reasons. Folks, this is the third match. Guess how it starts? Guess what the opening spot is of this match? If you guessed collar and elbow tie-up, you're correct. However, Lashley is too strong and overpowers Seth. Rollins knocks Lashley out of the ring with a step-up enziguri, but Bobby's straight back in and slams Rollins to the mat for a 2 count. We get another rest hold. All of these matches are the fucking same. Yeah. These are all the same match. Yeah. Guess how Rollins fights out of the rest hold? Some elbows to the midsection, like everyone else has done. But Lashley stays in control and bounces Rollins off the top turnbuckle. Lashley gets a 2 count from a neck breaker, back to a rest hold. Seth fights out again, but Lashley overpowers him with a inverted DDT, according to Michael Cole. It's not an inverted DDT. Michael Cole is 0 for 2 in DDT calls. Lashley hoists Rollins up for his stalling suplex, but Seth fights out and clotheslines Lashley to the outside, followed by 2 topes and takes Lashley off his feet. Rollins then climbs to the top rope, but Lashley meets him there and attempts a superplex, which is also blocked. Seth then attempts a sunset flip powerbomb, but Lashley lands on his feet and hoists Rollins up with a gut wrench. However, Rollins escapes and hits Lashley with a stomp for the win in 5 minutes and 30 seconds once again. Jack, what do you make of this one?
Gave it 2 out of 5. It's the same as match 1, given a very similar time. All I put was Lashley heel, Rollins face, nice enough finish. And I spent most of the match thinking about how much I prefer this current IC title design in 2018 than I do to the one that they've got now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I have to say on that. It's just a cut and paste of Ray and Randy, basically.
It really is. Yeah, I, funnily enough, also went 2 stars for this because, again, it's the same fucking match as the first one. They kind of hype Lashley up as him being super dominant during the match, and then loses to 1 stomp. So, that's interesting. But yeah, it was fine. Again, literally the first 3 matches on this show have been the same match. I think there was another backstage segment between these matches, but again, it was probably inconsequential, so I skipped over it. It was either that or some Saudi Arabian propaganda. So we then get our 4th and final quarterfinal match, which is Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler with Sir Alex Drew McIntyre at his side. During Kurt's entrance, Renee on commentary says that she was speaking to Kurt Angle earlier in the week or earlier in the day or before the match, basically. And she said that Kurt Angle told her that he thinks the WWE World Cup is a bigger accolade than anything else he's ever done. What are we doing here, folks?
What are we doing?
That's I'm sorry, but that's like Pep Guardiola going to manage Stockport and being like, yeah, the Virtu Trophy is it's bigger than the Premier League. It's bigger than the Champions League.
That's a perfect, analogy, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's exactly.
Kurt Angle has basically won everything that you can possibly win as an athlete. Forget WWE. This man has legitimately won an Olympic gold medal. And yet we're supposed to believe that he thinks the World Cup is a bigger accolade than that. Okay, do you know what?
Renee's having a little bit of fun there.
Yeah, she loves to have fun. I guess we're in Bizarro world, but yeah.
Well, we certainly are with the result of this match as well, by the way.
You know what else? Makes this Bizarro world?
Go on.
This match doesn't start off with a collar and elbow tie-up.
No, the streak is broken.
The streak, ... is over. We get some mat wrestling to start things off.
We do.
Because both men are known for their,
they're
being
actually
amateur
good wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolph gets a rest hold in, though, in record time. And he hits Kurt with a shoulder block after a side headlock. So never mind. We're back to the old formula. Kurt does get a belly-to-belly suplex off, though, before a nice series of German suplexes. Dolph rolls out to the apron, where Kurt looks for a German off the apron, much akin to Kurt versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. These matches and situations and shows are extremely similar. Dolph does hold on, however, and elbows Kurt to the floor. Ziggler sends Kurt hard into the steel steps before rolling him back into the ring. Dolph hits a neck breaker for a 2 count before transitioning into a sleeper hold. Emphasis on the sleeper. Kurt does fight out, though, before missing a clothesline and back to the sleeper hold. Kurt eventually fights out for real, and he hits another series of German suplexes on the show-off for a 2 count. Angle goes for an angle slam, but Ziggler escapes and hits a jumping DDT. And I mean it was a DDT for a 2. Dolph attempts a famouser, misses. Angle hits an angle slam, but Ziggler kicks out. The straps are officially down, and Angle goes for the ankle lock, but Ziggler gets out and hits another famouser for a near fall. Ziggler measures up Angle for a zigzag, but Angle gets away and locks in another ankle lock on Ziggler. Ziggler gets close to the bottom rope, but Angle pulls him to the center of the ring. Dolph eventually fights out and sends Angle into the ring post before a zigzag and the pin in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Jack, what are your thoughts on this one?
Again, I gave it 2 out of 5. Very, very similar to the other 3 matches that we've just seen. Regarding all 4 of the opening matches, I thought they were TV quality at best.
Yeah.
And they weren't needed on a pay-per-view. I don't care whether it's a fucking tournament or not.
Yeah.
For this match specifically, I like both guys, but because of Kurt's age, the pace slows right down because, like you said, it's 8 minutes. It's a few minutes longer, and you spend a good couple of minutes with rest holds so Kurt can sort of, I guess, catch his breath and catch up maybe or whatever. Also, why have Drew out there with Dolph if he's not going to affect the finish? You've got your Olympic gold medalist, former champion and legend Kurt Angle just going down clean.
Because that's his boyfriend. Why would he not bring his boyfriend there?
Well, like, he gets involved in the other matches later anyway. So, like, just protect Kurt a little bit more. Just have him get involved. But he doesn't get involved in the finish, does he, in this one?
So you're advocating for interference. I never thought I'd hear the day.
I'm advocating for not having this fucking match at all, Sam. But if you're going to have it and have the two heels out there against your guy, he's a legend, is Kurt fucking Angle. You want him to look strong still in defeat, and he doesn't. So if you're going to go down that route, to make everything make sense, you'd have to have Drew screw him as well. But they don't. He just goes down clean. And that just pisses me off a bit. But yeah, 2 out of 5.
Fair enough. I went 2.75 for this.
Oh, really?
I thought, which is crazy to think that, oh my God, wow, that's good. I think this was the best match so far. I think what made me bump it up a bit was the first 3 matches were literally the exact same. Whereas this had like a little bit more to it. Like, there was the mat wrestling to start off. There was a few more near falls than we'd seen before. I thought Kurt did a decent enough job with keeping up with Ziggler. Obviously, there was kind of the rest holds and what have you. But I thought Kurt still looked pretty crisp. Like, his German suplexes were a thing of beauty still.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that to this day he probably could do well. So I thought, unironically, this was actually a decent match. But like you said, it was no more than a kind of TV quality match.
No.
So to say 2.75 and that be a compliment, I think kind of shows...
That is a very big compliment to this match.
To this show in general.
To this show as well, yeah.
We then get a bit of a break from the WWE World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world tournament, TM /.ie. The New Day versus The Bar for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Folks, who is this that I see coming out with The Bar? Could it be? It is! It's the Big Show. We were without the Big Show last week.
We love the Big Show. We love him.
We had no Big Show at Survivor Series 2016. I was legitimately disappointed at that.
You were beside yourself. You didn't know what to do.
I was apoplectic. Honestly, I was hysterical. And here he is. Yeah. The New Day are riding a magic carpet to the ring, which I feel like is a little bit racist.
A little bit, but they're always entertaining.
Yeah.
They're always coming up with these wacky fucking entrances for big shows, like at Mania and stuff.
They just love to have fun, don't they? And they're so athletic, and other such platitudes, empty platitudes.
I think they should form a new nation of domination. Every time there's like more than 2 black people on the screen in a WWE segment or whatever, it's just everyone's like, new nation, new nation.
Because that's what people thought that the New Day were going to be as well when they first formed. They were like, oh my God, we're going to get a new nation of domination. Okay, so that's like every time there's 2 white guys in the ring being like, oh my God, new DX.
Yeah,
like,
or Evolution.
Yeah, but this magic carpet is moving very slowly.
Was Batista what? It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Batista, I think, was half Filipino.
Okay, got you.
Anyway, how does this match start off, do you think?
Tell me.
Collar and elbow tie-up.
We love it.
Side headlock into a shoulder barge.
There we go.
You can't write this stuff. Well, actually, you can write this stuff. You'd think that you'd write it a bit fucking better. What are the odds that it's the same
producer for all 5 opening matches?
Do you know what I think the sad thing is I don't think it is the same producer. I think it's just WWE brainworms.
Probably.
Being like, okay, so here's how we're going to start this one off. You're going to go into a collar and elbow tie-up, side headlock, and get this, he's going to bounce you into the ropes. Then you're going to do a step over, drop down, leapfrog into a shoulder barge. Cinema. Where am I? Sorry. Kofi and Cesaro get tagged into the match pretty quickly. And there's some good back and forth between the two. Kofi sells the fuck out of a European uppercut, and then Sheamus is back in quickly for the champs as they take control with some double team offense, as well as some sneaky... Oh my god, I will glaze the bar all day. We have some sneaky interference offense from our man, The Big Show. We then get a rest hold on Kofi. Kofi tries to tag out, but Sheamus is in and hits a stiff as fuck clothesline on Kofi for a 2 count. Rest hold again, and Kofi fights out with some vicious chops. These I liked, but his hot tag is cut short by Sheamus, and Cesaro is in again, wearing down his challenger. Cesaro with a gut wrench power slam gets a 2, and immediately we get another hold on Kofi. Kofi is trying desperately to fight out and get to his corner. Cesaro attempts a cheap shot at Big E, who's standing on the apron, but Big E's wise to it, and he ducks away. Sheamus, however, gets tagged in and he knocks Big E off the corner almost immediately afterwards anyway, so it didn't really matter. We get some more double teaming on Kofi, and that gets another 2 count. Kofi gets launched into the corner and attempts to fight off the bar, but Sheamus gets in the ring. Kofi manages to launch him into the corner, and Big E gets the hot tag and starts tossing Cesaro around the ring before a big old splash, but Cesaro does get the knees up. Sheamus is once again in the ring, but Big E cuts him off with the Uranagi. Always a fan of the Big E Uranagis. Big E then tries his patented tope spear off the apron on Sheamus, but Sheamus meets him with a knee to the side of the head. Sheamus and E are now in the corner. Kofi tags in and hits a double stomp to Sheamus. Big E launches his partner over the top rope onto Cesaro, and Big E then attempts the big ending on Sheamus, but Sheamus pushes E into the corner, and Big E gets hit with a knockout punch by the Big Show. Big E struggles to his feet, and he's met with a brogue kick from Sheamus for the pin and win in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, what do you think of that one then, I guess?
2.25 out of 5 for me. Probably just slightly below average. The ring work was fine. The action was fine. But the crowd was fucking dead. They couldn't give less of a shit.
Oh my god, yeah. This crowd was just fucking awful.
Yeah.
Let me say that.
And I thought it was just slightly better than the other 4 opening matches, in my opinion. So that's why I bumped it to 2.25. Yeah, it was just fine. You know, I like all 6 guys involved in the match.
Especially
I love all yeah, especially Big Show. I love all 6 of them. They're all great workers. They're all charismatic and stuff, and I like them all in their own way. But I mean, they would just give them 10 minutes 30 to do a tag team title match on a pay-per-view, and yeah, they batted an average, and they gave a 7 out of 10, and they got paid. Fair enough. Move on.
Yeah, I went 2.5 for this one.
Nice. Yeah.
I was really hoping for more. I was like, this match could hit 3 stars. This could be the best match
with a bit
on the
more
show.
time and investment in the story or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, all 6 guys involved are fantastic workers. Yep. Me and you loved the bar. I think. Honestly, I think I've never met a hater of the bar. They hit hard. Really. Or New Day, true. We won't talk about about what happened with them during this past week and the WWE. Actually, no. Let's fuck it. WWE, TKO. What are you doing? How are you letting these guys go? I sincerely hope that once they're kind of, I don't know, did they have a 90-day no-compete clause?
I think
probably.
so.
So we could potentially be seeing them at like we could see them show up at All In.
I think that's a safe bet. Is, you know, New Day have been in matches, you know, they were at WrestleMania 32 or whatever when the Hardys came back, and it was just a clusterfuck ladder match, wasn't it, for the tag titles. We could have the same again at a really big show at Wembley, and we'd actually be in attendance. I wouldn't be surprised if, because the tag team division in AEW is on fucking fire, man. It's so fucking good, right? FTR, Young Bucks, Cope and Cage. I mean, I know they're you know, old and come out of retirement, but they could still get by in like a ladder match at Wembley, given the athleticism of all the other guys. Sticking a debut in New Day, dude, you probably have a match of the year candidate on your hands there. It's fucking insane. So
you also have Motor City Machine Guns who have been released fuck
WWE. Fuck it, debut both of them one after another. Do another all like out with just two big. Exactly. Why the fuck not? And I tell you what, Sam, we'd be going mental. We'll have a few fucking beers and we'll be like, you know what, fair fucks to these guys, because the good people always find their way, and I think AEW is allowing these good wrestlers that are just sort of realizing that WWA is just enshitifying everything, and they are getting in the way of their own performers. Like, if you genuinely grew up loving wrestling and you love the art form of pro wrestling, you want to be given 20 minutes to show your love of the art form in a bell-to-bell every week. And AEW gives that opportunity to the vast majority of their wrestlers. But in WWE, you're either going to be like on standby in catering, or you're going to be just not used, or you're going to be used in a fucking 5-minute backstage segment. And it's all about, like, you've got to hit your mark, you've got to take the 5 minutes that you're given, and you've got to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. And that's always been the brass ring style of WWE. But in AEW, it just seems like it's like Tony's just like, well, fuck yeah, I love wrestling. I'll give you 20 minutes with this other wrestler. Show me what you can do as a story. And if the crowd gets invested, Tony will be like, okay, maybe next week we'll put you in a more elevated position. And he builds everything so it makes sense. And don't get me wrong, I'm not glazing him too much. He does make mistakes as well. But fuck me, it's a breath of fresh air watching AEW compared to WWE. So...
yeah, I think it's both his biggest strength and his weakness, Tony Khan, that he is genuinely such a wrestling fan. Like, it has obviously blinded him at points with, you know, the whole CM Punk debacle. And like you said,
I think anyone put in that position, if you or I were in that same position,
well,
Sam,
exactly.
I not many people would have handled it as well. I think TK handled it as well as he could, because Punk, he's just such a massive ego and such a massive thing, and us as fans just build him up to the point where he's not going to meet those expectations. Everything's going to come crashing down. So I think he handled it as well as he could have done, honestly.
Yeah, and I think just a final point on the New Day situation.
Yes.
I think it was very telling that when the news broke, how many people from AEW did you see post about that on social media?
Absolutely.
About how, like, they are beloved by, and it doesn't, company lines don't matter when it comes to things like that.
No.
Like, because you look at, even from just a cultural perspective, Kofi Mania, like, the amount of people in sort of like the black community that moment meant so much to them. And you see with, like, you know, and it's very easy for me to sit here as a white person, and it probably sounds a bit cringe, but the amount of, like, black people that I saw on social media after Kofi Mania who were talking about, like, they were legitimately in tears, because it was like, this is our guy who has for the last 5 years been allowed to play himself and hasn't been made out as this, like, stereotypical, like Crime Time or any of these kind of horrendously stereotypical racist gimmicks that WWE has done in the past, where it's like, no, this is a guy who, he's a bit geeky, so he's allowed to be geeky. He likes, you know, he's an athletic guy, so he can be athletic, but that's not what he is. That's not his whole thing. Like, that's the reason why people loved Kofi, was because he was just a guy that anyone could get behind, regardless of your background or whatever. But yeah, best of luck to Kofi and Xavier. Best of luck to Motor City Machine Guns. Hope to see you both at Wembley in August. To bring things crashing back down to earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for The Miz versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
What I love about this show is we get not only one, but 2 Miz matches. This show has fucking drained me.
We're on match 6 out of fucking 13 or whatever it is.
We're roughly halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst is still yet to come, by the way, folks.
Oh, God, yeah.
We get some sunset flips and near falls to start this one off. Miz tries to slide Ray out of the ring on his belly, but Ray lands on his feet. And then he sends Miz outside the ring, and then he does the belly slide on himself onto the Miz under the bottom rope. After a 7 count, both men are back in the ring, and Ray is raining down punches on Miz in the corner. Ray tries a sunset flip, but Miz sends him face first into the mat and gains control to slow the match down. To call this a snail's pace would be an insult to snails. Miz has Ray in a bow and arrow submission that looks fucking awful. And then Miz just starts kind of dawdling around the ring as Ray is selling the midsection. Like, when I say he's dawdling around the ring, I mean literally he's just kind of strolling around and looking. And I don't even know. Like, he just... Rest hold, you know? Mm-hmm. Ray fights out of the rest hold by biting the Miz's hand. But Miz then sends Ray sliding out of the ring under the bottom rope. We get that spot again. Abdominal stretch then on Ray. And the softest looking elbows I think I've ever seen on Ray's ribs. To kind of make it be like, oh yeah, look at me, the dastardly heel getting the midsection. But it just looks awful. Miz lifts Ray into a pump handle. But Mysterio reverses into a DDT. And both men are down. This is awesome. We get an exchange of blows and boo, yeah, chants. Mysterio gets the upper hand, ending with a crossbody and a head scissors. We get another head scissors into the corner and a third to set up for the 619. But Miz escapes and hits the skull-crushing finale for a near fall. Oh my god. This is like Wrestle Kingdom. Miz starts doing the yes kicks on Mysterio, which Corey Graves also goes on to remind us. These aren't the yes kicks, they're the world famous it kicks. Shut up, you cheat on your wife. Ray ducks under the last one, rolls up the Miz and gets a 2. Ray hits Miz with a 619, but oh no, his tummy hurt. And Miz gets the knees up on the follow-up splash and pins Mysterio in 11 minutes and 15 seconds to advance to the World Cup final. There is still 2 hours left of this show.
Yes.
Jack.
It's another 2 out of 5.
You went 2?
Yeah.
I said 1.25.
Oh, I mean, I gave it a 2.
I hated this fucking match.
I can tell. The crowd was completely dead for this as well. Yeah, Miz heel, Ray face. That's it. That's literally it. Like, yeah, frog splash, well, semi-frog splash counter or whatever it was. Both guys are semi-decent in the ring, whatever. But like, I just don't care about it. So 2 out of 5 for me. But yeah, you go off.
This was just like...
It wasn't good.
You know when I don't know. I didn't even know what to compare this to. This match was so reminiscent of like a Monday Night Football between like West Brom and Burnley.
Right.
8 p.m. on a Monday. You don't give a shit, but you're like, oh, there's nothing else on telly. I'll tune in. And it finishes 1-0. Yeah, 0-0 or 1-0 because of an own goal. Do you know what this match reminded me of, actually? This match reminded me of the 2010 World Cup between Algeria and Slovenia.
Oh, yeah.
Group stage match was one of the most boring matches of football I've ever watched in my entire existence. Middle of summer, I could have been outside playing with my friends, but I thought, no, I'm going to watch Algeria versus Slovenia. That's on the television right now, and I'm determined to watch as many games from this World Cup as I possibly can, and I regret it. That's what this match was. It was it was dross. It was pure and utter dross. I'm sorry. I'd like to take this moment to apologize to you for making you watch this show as well.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
I think this show is what made you feel ill.
Probably. Yeah.
You were sick for like a week after this show, and I feel like that's my fault. So I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. Next up,
Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. Surely business is about to pick up, right?
Sort of.
Dolph and Seth have put on some great matches in the past, and this this should be enough, right? Surely. We get a bit of a cagey opening as both men size each other up with some more mat-based grappling. Has Seth ever done amateur wrestling?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. I know he tries to be like Will Ospreay all the time, but I never knew he tried to be Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler does eventually, however, lock in a rest hold on Rollins and shouts, "Ask him!" At the referee multiple times. We then get a drop-down, leapfrog, and a scoop slam from Rollins. You know, day one wrestling training stuff. Ziggler gets clotheslined over the top rope, and Rollins meets him outside with some chops. Drew, however, Dolph Ziggler's boyfriend, gets in Seth's face, and Rollins dares McIntyre to hit him. But Drew's like, "I'm not going to rise to your schemes, Mr. Nasal Voice." He steps aside and allows Rollins to get back in the ring. But Dolph is there to meet him and hits him with a DDT for a 2 count. Dolph then gets a neckbreaker on Rollins, followed by a nice deep cradle pin for a 2. There's a few times that Dolph uses this during the match, actually, which is... I like that as a little kind of garnish, almost. We do get another rest hold, though. Oh, sorry. No, I meant storytelling, because Rollins' neck hurts. So it's not a rest hold, it's storytelling. Rollins does fight out, probably with some elbows to the abdomen. Ziggler avoids a splash in the corner, and another deep cradle from Dolph gets another 2 count. Seth fights out of the corner, but Ziggler remains in control with a spinning back elbow. Chris Jericho, are you watching? Dolph is now mocking Seth, booting him in the head and hitting another neck breaker for a 2 count again. Storytelling again on Rollins. Seth backslides into a 2 count on Dolph before we get multiple roll-up attempts from both men. Isn't this exciting when the ref keeps going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2? We get about 30 of these in a row. Rollins then hits the Kazuchika Okada special ripcord knee for a 2 count. Rollins is now tuning up the band, something else he stole from another wrestler. But McIntyre intervenes. Dolph gets to his feet to attempt a DDT, but Seth slingshots him over the top rope, hits a tope, and attempts a springboard knee, but Dolph rolls through and hits a famouser for 2. Dolph goes up top, but Rollins hits a superplex, attempts a falcon arrow, but Dolph reverses into a zigzag for a near fall. That was a nice little sequence, I'll give him that. Ziggler goes for another zigzag, but Seth fights him off, hitting a super kick. Seth goes to the top rope, but McIntyre pushes Seth off, and Dolph hits a super kick for the win in 13 minutes and 5 seconds. Jack, what do you think of this one?
2.5 out of 5. Probably the best match of the night so far for me, because both guys know how to get an average match out of each other in their sleep, I'd say, and this is a bang average match. The crowd's still pretty quiet, but improved towards the end of the match, rooting for the babyface in Seth. It made sense having Drew out there because he actually got involved in the finish in this one.
He did.
Yeah, it etched up the quality very slightly in match quality, but just not enough, if you get me. So yeah.
I went 2.25. I think the match started getting interesting in the last 2 to 3 minutes, when you had the kind of the Falcon Arrow zigzag attempt, and there was some quicker moments, but it was just everything before it was so slow that it was nothing special. Yeah, 2.25. It was fine.
But our final is set.
It's Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. 2 heels in the final, because that makes fucking perfect sense, doesn't it?
But before this show delves into fucking disrepair, we do have one slight shining light coming up, don't we?
I guess.
This next match. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Our next match is Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. It was meant to be Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
It was.
But Daniel Bryan said, "Oh, they kill journalists over here. I'm going to take a step back." So they had to quickly rewrite things, and they had the WWE title match on the Tuesday night SmackDown before this. And then Joe basically was like, give me the fucking match against AJ at the pay-per-view. And they're like, yeah, okay. So that was that. But surely this will be match of the night. And maybe even the year, right? Please? Give us something. We get a hot start, though, with some fast strikes and kicks from AJ into a chop block. AJ is focusing on Joe's kayfabe injured leg. Joe slides out of the ring, and Styles misses a moonsault off the apron. Joe catches AJ, but AJ pushes Joe into the ring post. AJ breaks the referee's count, so he slides back into the ring and back out again. But in doing so, Joe recovers and throws AJ... Do you know what? I said throws. Fuck it. Throws AJ into the barricade at ringside. Joe hits AJ with a suicide dive straight into the commentary desk. Joe rolls AJ into the ring and gets a 2 count. And after a brief rest hold, AJ fights out. Joe, however, hits AJ with a back elbow in the corner, followed by a Pele kick. Joe hits AJ with a headbutt, but he's not an Anawahi, so he doesn't get the damage buff. Joe then hits AJ with a vicious chop, and we get another rest hold as the crowd does the Mexican wave. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe are wrestling in front of you, and this is the match that you choose to do the Mexican wave. You know what? Fine. Don't care anymore. AJ and Joe are exchanging. They're not explaining blows. They're exchanging blows. But AJ gets the better of it with a step-up enziguri, and both men are down. Both men exchange chops now, but AJ again gets the upper hand, setting up for the Styles clash. Joe, however, pushes him into the corner and hits an inverted DDT on the challenger. Joe rolls out of the ring, and AJ hits a forearm to the outside. AJ sets up for a phenomenal forearm, but Joe ducks underneath and hits a very quick power slam for 2. A stiff lariat from Joe gets another 2 count. Styles then locks in a calf crusher on Joe, but the challenger gets to the bottom rope to break the hold. AJ then gets caught in a coquina clutch, but he escapes by wrenching on the injured leg of Joe, the way he bent Joe's leg looked really painful. Styles then goes for another calf crusher, but Joe escapes before getting hit by a Pele kick from AJ. AJ then sets up and hits the phenomenal forearm and gets the 3 count in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. What do you think of this one, Jack?
I gave it 3.25 out of 5. It could have been a higher rating if they were given more time, if the crowd actually gave a fuck, if it wasn't in Saudi Arabia and without the WWE style restrictions. I still thought it was a pretty decent match, probably above average. Yeah. I'm probably being kind because I really like both guys as wrestlers, and although it lacked a bit of energy, drama, and urgency for a WWE title match, which it should have all those things, it was fucking awesome to see 2 of my favorites from the independent scene of all, and my favorites of all time even, vie for the top company's belt. It was like, who would have thought back in 2005, like with TNA and Ring of Honor as their main companies, who would have thought that in 2018 they would be competing for the WWE title? So looking at it like that, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, ultimately it ended up being just boilerplate slop. But I gave it 3.25 because I like both guys. So
yeah, I went 3, much for kind of the same reasons.
We're very similar with this, just a couple of 0.25s or so out. Yeah. Apart from that one where you went 2.75 for the Kurt. Yeah, was it the Kurt match? It's just because you're a fucking Ziggler mark, isn't it?
Apparently, I still am. Yeah. I have fun watching him flop about with his noodle hair,
and that's honestly that's fair.
Yeah, but I felt like the ending for this one just kind of came out of nowhere and not in like a cool RKO way. It just was like, oh shit, there's the spot.
Yeah, WWE title match on a pay-per-view, it shouldn't be 11 minutes. You should at least be giving it 15, shouldn't you? But I get whatever. This show shouldn't have even fucking happened, so whatever.
The thing that I wanted to point out about this match and the difference between this and the Ziggler-Rollins match is the story and kind of selling of a kayfabe injury difference that you had between this and the previous match. Rollins had the kind of the neck injury, and it felt like Ziggler just kept doing the same moves. Like, it was multiple neck breakers, it was multiple kind of like neck cranks and rest holds. Whereas with this match, the Joe kayfabe leg injury, there was more, like, there was a difference in the moves that AJ was doing, and he wasn't solely focusing on it. Like, it was, I'm going to hit you with a chop block, but I'm not going to just then do like knee stomps and leg cranks and whatever. And then you had the moment with the coquina clutch where AJ then grabs Joe's leg and wrenches it sort of like into an unnatural position. And it's like, okay, there's another way that you can sell the leg. And then, yes, you did have the 2 calf crusher attempts, but even outside of the kayfabe leg injury, that is one of AJ's signature moves anyway. So it just felt a bit fresher in terms of the moves that were being used for targeting of body parts. And I guess that kind of shows the difference between, Ziggler has done a lot of his work in WWE and wrestling that WWE style, and the kind of, repetition is what they aim for, I guess. Whereas with AJ being from the Independents and TNA and Ring of Honor, like you said, and New Japan, there's a lot more that goes into matches and trying to keep people engaged. So it was just interesting to kind of note those differences from one match to the next with like these tiny little details. Absolutely. Here's a segment, an advertisement we can add for WWE 2K19, and it's rave reviews, which, to be fair, I think it's the last WWE game I played, and I do remember liking it somewhat. So okay, I'll give him that. We then get acting GM of Raw, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin, to come down and preside over the next contest. Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't want to be here for the next 3 matches.
It's time. The vacant Universal Championship is on the line. Obviously, this title has been vacated by Roman Reigns.
Yes.
It's Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Braun Strowman. As Brock is making his entrance, the cameras cut to 2 children in the stands viciously fighting each other before it like quickly cuts away. And I always think, like, I'm not someone who has ever produced or edited a live show on the scale of the WWE. However, I have been next to a stage and been behind the, in the sort of war room of a live production before, like a multicam live production. And the way that I've always done it, and I've always seen it be done, is you have on the screen, here's the live picture, and you have queued up, here's what you're going to cut to next. Now, they cut to these kids and they're mid-fight. So they had that queued up to be like, okay, right, and now children fighting. Oh, fuck, no, get that off. What's going on there, folks? Kevin Dunn, what are you doing? Anyway, we get our introductions, and Baron Corbin steps into the ring with the title to hoist it above his head and show it off or whatever. You'll never get this, you'll never get this. That's my Borat impression. And then, we think, okay, that's grand. Yeah, that's what they're fighting for. Corbin goes to leave the ring. But wait a second. What's he doing? He then blasts Braun in the back of the head with the title and orders for the bell to be rang. Lesnar immediately then hits Strowman with 2 F5s. Yep. Braun kicks out. A third F5. Braun again kicks out at 2. Braun is struggling to get to his feet, and Brock hits F5 number 4, this time to the outside of the ring. Braun, at the referee's count of 9, gets back in the ring, and then Brock takes off his gloves, which you would think, oh my god, he's going to like bare knuckle destroy him. Nah, he just picks him up for another F5. But Strowman fights out of it this time and then pushes Lesnar away. And that is all the offense that Strowman gets in this match. Brock hits F5 number 5 and wins in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Jack, help me.
Dud. I gave it a dud out of 5. I hate everything about the match. I just hate why were the decisions made. I understand, right? The thing I understand is you're booked into a corner because circumstances, like Roman can't fucking do it anymore, right? So it's vacant. They originally wanted a triple threat match, didn't they? So yes, I get that their plans are fucked, but everyone involved, you're paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to perform and entertain at the highest level. You can come up with something better than this. It's just so disappointing, and it was awful. Everything about it was awful.
I remember, like, before this show as well, like, going into this, people being like, this might be the time that they finally put the title on Braun.
Yeah, that would have been the smart thing to do.
Yes. He'd had such a hot streak up to that point. It's like, right, well, how do you capitalize on this? Oh, have him beat Brock. Immediately you legitimize him as a champion. But what do they do instead? They have Baron Corbin, which I don't understand, like, his motivations from a character standpoint.
No.
Of why he wants to do this. Surely you, as the acting GM of Raw, you want the match between two Raw guys to be a good representation of Raw.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you're the bad guy and whatever, but why would you not want this to happen? And then you've also pissed off Braun Strowman, who will, without hesitation, flip an ambulance onto you, or throw you through a wall, or into a fucking garbage truck, whatever they call them, bin lorry. What are we doing, folks? I am very happy, though, that this is the very first dud on the podcast, because I also gave this a dud.
Hey.
So that makes this an undisputed dud.
Yes. Or the only note I had for this match was, what the fuck is the point of this?
It was dreadful. It was so terrible. When you had a chance to create a big star in Braun, and like they'd pushed him to that level to be like, okay, this is the guy that they're going to go with next. Like, he was over as Rover with the fans. People loved watching him just destroy people, and they just didn't capitalize on it until the WrestleMania in the Performance Center where he beats Goldberg in front of nobody. That's when you decide to pull the trigger on him, rather than here, or, you know, at the Rumble in January where he had that triple threat with him, Brock, and for some fucking reason, Kane is in a world title match in 2019. Yeah, this was awful, but it's now time for
something equally as awful.
The final of the World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world tournament.
Yeah.
And joining big baldy bastard Baron Corbin at ringside is SmackDown Commissioner Big Sweaty Bastard Shane McMahon.
Oh, money.
Money. And they're both going, yeah, well, this Shane's like, SmackDown's going to win this. And then Baron's like, no, this is Raw's going to win this.
Yeah, this trophy's mine.
Yeah. This is coming home with us. No, we're going to win. My dad can beat up your dad. Oh, yeah, well, my dad can molest your dad. You know? The Miz and Ziggler are back for a third time. And we get a recap to find out how both men got to this point. So let's just add more time to the show. You know the show that you've been watching for the last 3 hours? Well, here's the thing that happened. Do you remember?
Stay strapped in.
We're seeing The Miz again.
Yeah.
We're seeing The Miz on our screens for a third time. The referee is ordering Drew McIntyre to leave the ringside area, which Dolph is like, oh, what are you doing that for? That's my emotional support, Scotsman. And the ref's like, no, this is the prestigious final. You can't be here. It's prestigious final.
There'll be no Fergie time here.
Yeah, there'll be none of this shite. Okay? Get him out. And, you know, Drew is like, you've beaten Kurt. You've beaten... who did he beat in the last round? You've beaten Seth. You can beat The Miz.
That's a really good impression, Sam.
Thank you. I do still have some testosterone left in my body. That allows me to do things such as that. But yeah, you know, Drew leaves. Before the bell even rings, Miz starts attacking Ziggler, and he throws them to the outside. And then, while leaving the ring to go and further attack Ziggler, the Miz lands awkwardly, hurting his ankle, and Dolph tries to take advantage. The Miz no-sells this and continues to be on top, and he rolls Ziggler back into the ring. but he can't get to his feet because his ankle hurty. Yeah. Then Miz, the cowardly heel, tries to convince Shane McMahon that he can compete and isn't injured. Which... what? Greg Hamilton tries to announce multiple times that Dolph Ziggler is the winner of this match due to forfeit, but Shane keeps like pressing the microphone away from him. He's like, hey, what did I tell you? Stop it. If you say one more word, I'll have you killed. Don't forget where we are. Yeah, Shane then selflessly decides that he will take the Miz's place in the final instead. All the while, everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't just do this. This is the prestigious World Cup tournament to determine the best in the world tournament. You can't just hop in. And he's like, oh, yes, I can. And everyone's just kind of like, all right, then. I guess you can. The bell then rings, and Shane starts punching and kneeing the fuck out of Dolph Ziggler. Like, legitimately. It looks... Actually, like, the funny thing that I always notice about Shane McMahon when he's in the ring is he starts doing these, like, haymakers at people. And after about 3, they just drop to their feet, they drop to their knees because they're like, I'd stop, please. I'm being serious. I'm not even playing. And Shane, like an oversized lapdog, doesn't understand. He's just like, oh yeah, brilliant. That made me look strong. Let me get in and let me get some mounted punches in there. But yeah, he then hits Dolph with a spinning back elbow. Baron from the outside trips Shane McMahon. Shane completely no-sells, and the referee sends Baron to the back. So one of the authority figures is allowed to compete in the match, whereas the other one gets sent to the back for heelish antics. Dolph hits a zigzag on the distracted Shane for a 2 count. Commentary are absolutely irate that Shane, the babyface, mind you, is in the final. Shane hits a very rough-looking float-over DDT, followed by a catapult onto Ziggler into the corner, and a coast-to-coast for the win in 2.5 minutes. Shane McMahon is now the undisputed best in the world in a move that can only be described as WCW 2000-esque. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Dud.
Yeah, dud for me.
I can't believe we've had 2 duds on the same show.
In a row. Yeah.
This is truly a historical night. It's a magical evening.
This whole World Cup, Sam, was fucking atrocious. I don't understand. So if you'll have me, I've rebooked the whole cup.
You know what? I was really hoping that you would, because I in 2018 rebooked the whole World Cup as well.
Oh, nice.
So I want to hear the 2026. Yeah, I want to hear your 2026 version.
Of course.
I don't have my notes of the 2018 version to hand. Okay. By the way, they were in notebooks that I think may have been lost in between moves, but I do remember parts of it. But I want to hear what you would have done. Off
the bat, 7 tournament matches in one night, regardless of where you are and what you're doing, is too much.
Yeah.
Equally, having a 48-year-old non-wrestler in jeans win the whole thing and be crowned best in the world is maybe not the best look to have a World Cup of wrestling. Mm-hmm. A tournament that features Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, and Bobby Lashley, but someone with the last name McMahon takes the trophy home. I can't. It's
a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah, in a blood money show in Saudi Arabia as well. There's no matter how many filters you put that through, I just can't. You know,
it's not easily digestible. No.
So the least you could do if you're going to try and do this tournament and this cup is give the audience at home just something that means something a little bit more. Right. First off, Kurt Angle is not in the tournament. I'm sorry, do not job him out in a fucking nothing tournament. He is not in the tournament. He's a legend. He should be treated as such. He should be in his own stories. He shouldn't be in a fucking World Cup tournament at this stage in his career. Secondly, you focus the Raw bracket on Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and their blood feud, okay? Because we've talked about it. Ambrose turned on his current tag partner and co-champion Seth Rollins on the same night that Roman Reigns announced his leukemia had returned. like you said, in a microcosm, that was like a holy shit, wow, what are they going to do with this kind of thing? Play it into the fucking cup, dude.
It never even got brought up.
No.
Throughout the show.
So if you're turning Ambrose heel, and he's got with his mindset, he's going to leave and go to AEW in May of 2019 anyway, right? So he's on borrowed time. Ambrose, if he's turning heel, he should want to enter this tournament, shed his lunatic fringe goofy gimmick, and then turn quite fucking evil. If you're going to have him turn on the same night that his best friend is announcing that he's got cancer, he's got to be an evil cunt, hasn't he? Like, come on, instead of being all goofy... he's all goofy, and he fucking has the gas mask and shit, and it's all just fucking awful. You've got to have him go evil, and he's got to be like a Moxley light before we get the actual Moxley in AEW, right?
Yeah.
Add all of it to the tournament. So the 2 weeks of Raw before the show, you're going to get the quarterfinals, and each quarterfinal, to give it its own story, will main event the show, okay? So it gives the proper time, proper context to help build the tournament in the weeks leading up to the show. I know we don't give a fuck about the show, but I'm just trying to make the best out of a bad situation anyway. Yeah. So on SmackDown, week 1, you've got Randy Orton versus our favourite man, The Big Show. This was originally... Yes, this was originally a qualifying match in real life, but how about we just have it as a main event quarterfinal match on SmackDown? Orton can win after a perfectly timed RKO, exactly what you want from him. Then week 2, you have Rey Mysterio main eventing SmackDown versus The Miz in the quarterfinal match. Shane's at ringside as commissioner because him and The Miz have a thing going on, don't they? Obviously, he's also invested in SmackDown's representation. And guess what? Mysterio wins clean, so we don't have to put up with The Miz in Saudi Arabia.
3 times.
Yes, on Raw, week 1, you've got Dean Ambrose versus Bobby Lashley in the main event. Ambrose wins cleanly and efficiently and makes it clear that he's sort of operating on a different level now. That's what you need to do, because it's a big fucking story. Rollins and Ambrose, you've just reformed the Shield, all that. You've got to fucking address it. You can't just drop this shit. Week 2, in the main event of Raw, you've got Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre at ringside. McIntyre interferes, gets himself ejected. Rollins ends up winning with the stomp. After the match, Ambrose appears on the Titantron. He's got his tag title. It's on the floor in the center of the shot. Seth's just looking confused and stuff. He's still trying to be like, what the fuck's happening, Ambrose? He's being a dumb babyface, as dumb baby faces have to be to listen to the heel wax lyrical, right? And we get an Ambrose 5-minute promo that's sort of Mox light, and he's like, you know, I'm giving up the title, you know, you mean nothing to me, blah blah blah, all that fucking, you know, shit that you would want from a heel Ambrose at the time. And he abandons the tag title, and now the tag titles are vacated. So now we're at Crown Jewel for the semi-finals. So we have the semi-finals and finals on one night. I'm fine with that. So we are at Crown Jewel on the night, and this is the opening match. We've got Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton, as we basically did, right? We have the match go 10 to 12 minutes. It's competitive. Orton works way more heel, and Mysterio wins as a babyface with the 619 and a creative pin, let's say. But Orton doesn't leave. He again rips at Rey's mask, wraps a chair around his neck, fucking goes mental, because they go into a program after the show anyway with Orton as the heel. So you can still have the attacking and everything, but you just give it more time to breathe instead of having to rush through everything at the beginning of the Crown Jewel show, as we've experienced. Next up on the show, we've got Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus a makeshift babyface team for the vacant tag team titles that Ambrose and Rollins had. McIntyre dominates, carries the match. Ziggler gets the pin at the end, though, and that plays into their story because they're about to break up in the December of this year. And I like both guys, and I want them to have the vacant tag titles because WWE doesn't do anything with the tag teams it has, so fuck it. Plants the seed for Drew's turn on Ziggler and for his shot to superstardom as he goes on. And then you've got, you know, Ziggler being like, "Aha, I won the titles for us," and Drew's like, "Aha, I did all the work." You know, all that basic shit. Just fucking do it. It makes sense. In the other semi-final, we've got Ambrose versus Rollins. Okay, so they both won their Raw main events. They're in a blood feud, and they are in the semi-final of this. Like, it fucking means something. We've built something to this point, right? It's a 20-minute battle of two people who basically know each other inside out. You've got counters, escapes, brutality, all of that fucking shit. Rollins ends up fighting with his heart instead of his head because he's just been betrayed by his best friend. But Ambrose is fighting with his head and not his heart because he's a cold, calculating bastard now, right? And that's the difference. Ambrose wins clean. We let this feud simmer because you've just had the turn and we have this natural cup semi-final. It doesn't feel like you forced them together. So you can have this and have a clear definitive winner, but you can still have them simmering and fucking each other up after, right? So let's take advantage of the stories that we have and explain it clearly in a tournament format, basically. Anyway, the final now. Rey Mysterio is obviously compromised because he's been beaten down by Randy Orton and he's running on fumes. He's against a fucking, like we said, cold calculated different Ambrose. He keeps trying to find ways back into the match as the babyface. This is Rey, but Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds, for the 3 count in a standard 10-minute match. Ambrose picks up the trophy. You have someone who is the best in the world and wins the World Cup. That makes fucking sense. He holds it for a moment. He just looks at it and then he just walks out without saying a word. After the event, Ambrose can use the trophy as leverage against Rollins in their feud. It gives them something to play with in the future. I'm not going to rebook too much in the future, but he's off to AEW a few months later anyway, and I think it makes everyone in the scenario look better than they do in real life. Like, WWE just ruined him. He was miserable. Just have some nice stories and make some money and have him be an evil bastard before he leaves, and then I think you're fine. So that's my rebook.
Yeah, it's much better than the fucking slop that we got served up.
It was a bit long, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it was neat.
I tried to make it well thought out.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
The way that I kind of remember doing it was I used to... you may remember this when I used to play WWE 2K19 and I would write
you did your own
storylines
stories
and things like that. And I would fantasy book things. So mine was very different. Because obviously it's a complete fantasy booking where I'm doing it in a video game. And I had 32 competitors.
Nice.
I managed to find on the roster at the time 32 different nationalities that could be represented.
Nice.
Some very tangentially. So, for example, The Miz has some Greek grandparents, I think it was. So I was like, right, Miz, he can represent Greece.
Nice.
He can call himself the Greek god and,
Why
things
not?
of that nature. Roman Reigns will represent Samoa, obviously. AJ Styles was my US representative. At the time, I was a very big Aleister Black fan. So he was there to represent the Netherlands, and he was also in my booking at the time, the WWE champion.
Very nice.
Kofi Kingston was there to represent Ghana. Big E has got some Jamaican heritage,
nice.
So Big E was also in the tournament to represent Jamaica. I was using this to sow some seeds of dissent between the New Day, not have them break up, but just have like a fighting in some infighting in the New Day, because Kofi would advance further in the tournament than Big E would, which would sow some seeds for my own Kofi mania down the line, that Kofi would get to the semi-finals. But what I was doing was, much like the Cruiserweight Classic, have the World Cup be its own show. Where you film it in Full Sail, which I know it might be a bit ridiculous considering like some of the stars that you have involved in it, to have them in this small venue, but still you would have, so there was a group stage, 15-minute time limits for each match. The winners would advance onto a round of 16, quarterfinal, semi-final, final. My difference as well was I was doing this tournament during the summer. So the final was going to take place at SummerSlam, and Aleister Black, before the tournament started, announced that in every single match he would be putting the WWE Championship on the line, which, you know, you could say maybe telegraphs things that he is going to go to the final and what have you. But then it also makes interesting that you have both a World Cup final match and a WWE Championship match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Put them together. I think I had Sheamus go to the final. Because A, come on Ireland, and B, I just really want to see Sheamus in a tournament setting. Like I've said before, put Sheamus in the G1, you cowards.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just, you know, that's just the kind of sports nerd in me, though. I understand the kind of restraints and restrictions that probably wouldn't work in an environment like the WWE. It's maybe more lent to something like New Japan or AEW with their Continental Classic and stuff like that. But I had a ton of fun booking that summer tournament. Jack.
Hello.
We've got one more match.
I don't like it, but let's do it.
Well, before the match, we did get an ad for the WWE Network because I'm sure by now the Fed were desperately praying that you'll continue to pay for the service after this show. They're like, please, look, we have Story Time and Camp WWE and Table for Three. You like these things, which I did. Folks, it's main event time.
Yep.
It's the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker, versus D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Everyone's basically bald now.
Old.
I mean, Undertaker's got hair, but it doesn't look good. So he should be bald. You know, this is what we've all been waiting for. You know, the dads are fighting each other. Shawn Michaels' perfect retirement angle in 2010 has been cast aside for this. We got a long hype package before this match in an attempt to make us feel something other than disgust. So the story going into this match was at Super Showdown the previous month in Australia. Undertaker and Triple H had another 25-minute match. Which Triple H obviously went over. And then Michaels and Kane got in the ring afterwards to be like, oh, you guys, end of an era again. We all love each other. And then the Brothers of Destruction were like, and hit tombstones on DX. And that was enough to make Shawn Michaels come out of retirement. There was some really bad backstage promos from the Brothers of Destruction in their boiler room where they were like, you're gonna rest in peace. And they dug some graves. I think that was pretty much it.
Yep.
And now we're here.
The main event.
Yeah, Michael Cole refers to them as 4 all-time greats. But Kane is here, so... Here's an interesting note. As DX are making their entrance, there is 40 minutes left of the show.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, just before the match starts as well, it's revealed that the #1 trend worldwide right now on Twitter is WWE Crown Jewel. Probably not for the reasons they want. But anyway, we get a stare down between all 4 men as the crowd chants, "This is awesome." This is really the perfect WWE audience. They should just move over there permanently because they were just fed slop on a plate throughout this show, and there was multiple "This is awesome" chants throughout the night when nothing was.
No.
Kane and Triple H start us off. That's exciting. Another long stare down before a right hand from Triple H. But Kane floors Triple H with a right hand of his own. Triple H tags in Shawn Michaels, who starts chopping Kane before a neck breaker. But Kane sits up and tries to chokeslam Michaels. But HBK escapes and tries a sunset flip, but Kane is too strong. Kane evades a Sweet Chin Music and tags in Undertaker to a huge pop. Because, you know, Undertaker and HBK had that incredible back-to-back double bill at WrestleMania 25 and WrestleMania 26. This is not that. This is not that. Undertaker taunts HBK. He does his thumb across the throat thing. But HBK taunts back with some crotch chops and then delivers some normal chest chops before Taker hits him with a big boot. Taker has Shawn's arm wrenched and looks to go old school. But Triple H puts the kibosh on that before Kane gets involved too. DX have both been tossed from the ring, and the Brothers of Destruction now hold the high ground. DX then get back in the ring and send the Brothers of Destruction out, but Taker and Kane pull DX out and toss them into the ringside barricades. Undertaker has Shawn now back in the ring and goes old school. Taker goes for a big boot in the corner, but HBK evades it and tags in Triple H, who chops Taker, but then gets clotheslined by the dead man. Kane tags in and starts beating down Triple H in the corner. He hits a power slam, but Triple H avoids the elbow drop, and both men begin exchanging blows, finishing with a DDT on Kane. Triple H tags in Shawn, who begins chopping Kane, before taking him down with a flying forearm, followed by an inverted atomic drop. Michaels knocks Undertaker off the apron, and DX just about hit a double suplex on Kane. And when I say just about, I mean it was fucking touch and go for a second. HBK goes up top and hits an elbow drop on Kane. Michaels then begins tuning up the band in the corner. Hold on, that's Seth Rollins' thing. You're not allowed to do that. Kane blocks the attempted sweet chin music and hits a chokeslam before tagging in his brother. Undertaker hits Shawn with the snake eyes, followed by a big boot and a leg drop for a 2 count. Taker measures HBK for the chokeslam, but Michaels hits the sweet chin music out of nowhere. Taker sits up and tosses Michaels outside the ring. He clears off the announce table and attempts a tombstone, but Triple H rescues him, and he and Undertaker just kind of fly into the barricades. It starts off as like an Irish whip attempt by Triple H, and then Undertaker starts reversing it, and then I think neither man knows what to do, and they both just kind of fling themselves into the barricade, which is great, professional. Kane does, however, chokeslam Triple H through the announce table once he's recovered. Undertaker hits his apron leg drop on HBK and rolls him back into the ring, but Michaels kicks out. By the way, that chokeslam from Kane to Triple H kills Triple H. Triple H is dead. Was it his pec that he tears on the landing or something? I don't know.
He injures something for sure.
He gets injured because, these are 4 old men.
Yeah.
Who can't go anymore. They're far past their bedtime as well. Where was I? Sorry. Yeah, Taker tags in Kane, who Irish whips Shawn into the corner and follows up with some shoulder barges and stomps. Triple H is still down at the announce desk, and Kane tags Taker in again, who continues the beatdown on Michaels with a snap suplex into a 2 count. Taker has a rest hold on Shawn and tags Kane in again. It's all very simple, like stomps and rest holds and the like right now. I understand that obviously. Oh my god, the crowd is chanting "Fight Forever," and it feels like at this point they have been. I understand that Triple H going down to injury has kind of fudged plans a little bit, but surely these 3 men in the ring with a combined experience, legitimately not taking the piss, of about 100 years in ring, can come up with something better than, right, I'm going to put you in a rest hold, and then Kane's going to come in and do some stomps, and then he's going to put you in a rest hold, and then he's going to tag me in, and then we'll just do that again.
It's because they don't care, and it's a joke to them. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe we're being paid this much by this rich person in this country that we've never heard of, and they're just they're trying to do the hits, but it's not even the hits, and they're just like, oh my god, we can just get away with anything and get paid this amount. That's why they're laughing sometimes in the ring, and they're just, it's a joke to them. They don't give a fuck. They're getting paid millions. We're the mugs for watching it.
That's true. Yeah, Shawn's in the corner, but he fights out. Kane hits a sidewalk slam on Shawn and goes to the top, but HBK crotches him on the turnbuckle, and now both men are down. This is awesome. As Triple H makes his way back to his feet, finally, Taker pulls Michaels out of the ring, but HBK pushes Taker into the ring post for some separation. Back in the ring, Kane drives Michaels back into the corner and lifts him up onto the top turnbuckle. Shawn starts fighting back, and this is where it happens. He punches Kane's mask clean off onto the floor, and this is when the crowd starts loudly chanting "Fight Forever." Kane's mask falls off, Triple H's tit is hanging off, Undertaker's eyeliner has smudged off, And the crowd thinks that this is worth chanting, "This is awesome," too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but now that Kane's mask is off, that just makes he's now Glenn Jacobs. So Michaels hits a moonsault onto Glenn Jacobs and Taker on the outside, but Glenn now puts his mask back on, so he's Kane again. So Triple H is back up on the apron now, and Shawn tags him in, and a one-armed Triple H hits some chops, a knee lift, and a spine buster on Kane and Taker. Triple H attempts the pedigree, but Taker backdrops out of it, goes for a chokeslam, blocked. Taker tries a tombstone, but Triple H fights out and hits a pedigree. Taker locks in the Hell's Gate on Triple H, but Shawn Michaels super kicks Kane into the melee.
Triple H just fucking kneels down and puts his arms in the right position.
Come here. Give me a hand for a second. Shawn Michaels kicks Kane into the melee, which breaks up the hold. Kane and Taker sit up in stereo after an audible count from Taker to be like, right, okay, 3, 2, 1, up. The Brothers of Destruction go for a double tombstone, but DX escape. HBK hits a super kick on Undertaker and Kane, and Triple H hits the pedigree on Kane for the pin. By the way, Shawn Michaels, his first match back in 8 years, and Triple H is the one that gets the pin. Classic.
What an awful looking pedigree, by the way.
Oh yeah, 27 minutes and 45 seconds. Michael Cole is in full fucking propaganda mode. He's telling us to stand up and applaud and give these men the ovation they deserve. And that they are the four great, not just four of the greatest of all time, they are the four greatest of all time. But again, Kane is here, so not quite. This match wasn't as comically awful as some later appearances by Taker in Saudi, but it wasn't good by any means. Dud?
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 0.5.
I actually gave it a 1, but as the more that I've thought about it since, the more that I'm like, no, this is a fucking dud.
Pretty much is, yeah. You could give it anything from dud to 1 and it would probably just mean the same anyway. It's just how severe you're sort of feeling at the time. I've gone for 0.5, which I think is even more of an insult than a dud, because they put 27 minutes of ring time and match time into that, and it's Shawn's come back from retirement, and it was just straight up embarrassing. It was boring, it was plodding, it was sloppy. All men involved in the match had a combined age of 206, for fuck's sake. Kane's mask comes off for a moment in time you're taken back to when you watch Kane first debut in 97 in the Hell in a Cell with Shawn and Taker, and just how menacing he looked, and how great he looked in 98, 99, 2000, 2001. He looked fucking insane, and he was always this monster, and it was always this unknown chaotic presence. And then to
turns
see
out it's
him,
Glenn Jacobs,
and to see his fucking mask it's just holy shit. Where have we gone, guys? Come on.
This was genuinely an insult to
professional wrestling.
Yes, we watched a few weeks ago. We watched the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros in that steel cage match.
Yes, that
was a love letter to not only professional wrestling but to tag team wrestling.
Yes.
This was the complete antithesis of that match. This was just, I want to know how many zeros were on that check that they gave Shawn to genuinely make him ruin what was legitimately a perfect retirement.
I think each competitor probably got 1 or 2 million just clean from that performance.
I'm sorry, but that cannot be enough to talk you back in. That's ridiculous.
Clearly it fucking is.
You talk about professional wrestling retirements, and we talked about Trish Stratus's retirement at Unforgiven, quote unquote, and she came back, but her, like we said, her work afterwards was probably better than her work before she retired.
Yep.
then, you know, you have your usual suspects like your Terry Funk, he's retired probably 150 fucking times before he actually did retire. You had Ric Flair retire at WrestleMania 24 and then do a run in TNA and then have Ric Flair's last match.
Yep.
The less said about that, the better.
Yes.
But Shawn Michaels legitimately had a retirement match, and that was his retirement. He was done, and it was wrapped up so perfectly, so neatly. It was, and this is what you came out of retirement for.
Yeah.
In what part of your mind did you think, yeah, I'm going to come out of retirement, this is worth it, this is going to be so good that people are going to, you know, not mind? Like, was there no part of him that thought about that, or did he just be like, oh my god, big check, go brr?
I think so. He must have, because he was just like, oh, whatever legend contract he was on and whatever savings he had, it must have been, well, probably not running out, but he must have looked at that and been like, oh fuck, this sets me up until whenever I need another injection of cash. Maybe he wanted a new house or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know what motivates the man.
Maybe he needed like eye correction surgery or something.
Yeah, maybe.
He clearly didn't fucking get it, did he?
I mean, regardless of how much we speculate, it happened at the end of the day, and we witnessed a car crash of a coming out of retirement match, and rightly so. He has. Well, I say rightly so. In any interview he's given and he's asked about it, he just doesn't count this as coming out of retirement. He still classes the Mania 26 match with Taker as his retirement match. So for all intents and purposes, he just sort of ignores that this has happened.
That's all well and good if that helps him sleep at night. But the fact of the matter is, Michael Hickenbottom, you did come out of retirement for this match. You genuinely, now I'm not saying that this is a legacy ruiner, and his two matches with Taker can be dampened by this, but this legitimately does tarnish that legacy somewhat.
Yes.
That, you know, you had that perfect storybook ending, like we said, the cowboy that rides off into the sunset, and here you are 8 years later, you're bald, one eye's looking at you, one eye's looking for you.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is he has the best performance in this match.
Yeah.
He is the one, he looks the best.
Yeah.
Like, the crowd chants at one point, you still got it. He doesn't exactly,
no.
But he's in there with three people who are falling apart so rapidly that he may as well be fucking Kenny Omega in there.
Yeah, honestly.
It's embarrassing. In terms of an overall show rating, I went 1.25.
Yeah, I didn't even think about an overall. I'll just give it a 1. Fuck it.
This
Awful.
was, by a distance, you know, we've done how many shows now? Probably 12, 13 shows, maybe?
A few. I don't know.
A few.
Actually.
This
8?
is far and away
8 or 9?
the worst. Is it 8? Fuck it. Who cares?
This is definitely the worst, and it will probably be the worst.
I don't think there will be a worse one unless we decide to come back to Saudi Arabia for whatever reason. If I'm just feeling a bit, you know,
spicy,
a bit goofy, a bit of a minx. Jack, do you want to know my best dressed and worst dressed of the night?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure, fine. My best dressed, I had to really fucking scrape the bottom of the barrel here. Because I thought, you know, big stadium show, people will like pull out all the stops and have some fun looking gear. Everyone was wearing just like their weekly Raw and SmackDown gear.
Yep.
But I went Dolph Ziggler for best dressed because he had multiple gear changes. Mm-hmm. He wore different tights for each match. Mm-hmm. None of them were like particularly amazing, but
dude came prepared, didn't he?
Yeah, I enjoyed the attention to detail. Worst dressed was Big Baldy Bastard Baron Corbin. He was dressed as like a leprechaun cocktail bartender. He had on, it was like an emerald green shirt with like a navy blue waistcoat and then just like slacks and brown shoes. And it was just, it looked fucking awful. But, you know, I guess it's fitting with the theme of this. Honestly, this show was so bad. To anyone listening, thinking like, oh, this sounds like it could be a silly, goofy, fun time if I watch this. Don't. don't that because that's what I thought this was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be a lesson to you out there who are thinking of watching this show for the memes. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know, I thought we would have a laugh discussing the show, and we have. You know, we've
been
made
some
jokes.
hee-hees and ha-has for sure.
Yeah, but for the most part, this has genuinely been a miserable experience, and I never want to do it again.
No.
This is the final episode of the podcast.
We're retiring.
It's done, but we might come back in 8 years' time if Saudi Arabia offers us some money. Who knows? Jack, would you like to reveal to the fine folks at home who maybe are still listening at this point? If they're not, I don't blame them. What are we reviewing next week?
We're going to be going back to positivity, hopefully, with a show that is fond in a lot of people's hearts, particularly if you consider yourself a smart mark. We're going to Money in the Bank 2011, which is in Chicago, and as we all know, is the famous
Big
CM
Show
Punk
versus Mark Henry. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes, of course, Big Show. We're only here for Big Show. But no, it's the main event is the famous John Cena versus CM Punk for the WWE title. And just a lot of intrigue surrounding contract situations and the pipe bomb. The pipe bomb. We'll talk about the pipe bomb. So hopefully a little bit more positivity than this fucking sloppy shit of a show that we just reviewed.
I mean, it can't. Surely, Mick, it can't get worse, can it?
It can.
It can. Folks, that's going to wrap it up this week. Once again, I'd like to apologize and promise that we're never going to do something like this again. Jack, again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making you ill with this show.
It's okay.
And I look forward to returning to watching at least a decent show.
Yes.
Next week with a good main event. But yeah, that's gonna do it from me. Bye.
Yeah. See you later.